That cloudy Tuesday morning, Lara woke up with a weird restlessness she couldn't quite put into words. It felt like something deep inside her was trying to get her attention, a gentle nudge, but persistent. She grabbed a cup of coffee, sat by the window, and almost instinctively pulled out a blank page from an old notebook. The words flowed out on their own like a whisper. I received $20,000 in an easy and unexpected way. Thank you, universe. She stared at the sentence and felt a chill run down her spine. That's bold, she thought. Could something like this really just happen? Still, a quiet part of her believed it could. She folded the paper and tucked it into a shoebox she called her faith box, a little place where she kept her secret wishes no one else knew about. Days went by and she nearly forgot about the note. Life kept moving. Same uninspiring job, overdue rent, bills piling up. But something had shifted, a seed had been planted, and without making a sound, the universe had started to move. Because sometimes what seems like just a hopeful scribble is really a vibrational command sent straight into the cosmos. Lara could have written down any amount, 10 grand, 50, even $1 million, but 20,000 felt right. Just enough to catch her breath, wipe her debts clean and start fresh. More than just a number, it carried a kind of symbolism, a 2 and a 0, duality and new beginnings. That week, signs started showing up. She saw 2,000 flash on a digital bank screen. Someone on the bus casually said, I just got a $20K severance check. Even a random movie character dropped the same number. Coincidence? Maybe. But her gut said otherwise. It was like the universe was gently reminding her of the silent promise she'd made. Each time the number popped up, it felt like a quiet nod, a wink from the unseen, confirming that her message had been received. And even though nothing had physically happened yet, Lara started feeling this quiet, almost childlike sense of trust, like something good was already on its way. That's how manifestations usually begin. Not with fireworks, but with subtle echoes that repeat until the soul learns how to listen. Lara had this habit of writing everything down, dreams, random thoughts, personal goals. She called that beat-up old notebook the Book of Possibilities. It was part journal, part sacred space. Inside were affirmations like, I am abundance. Everything unfolds at the perfect time, and money flows to me with ease and joy. Her friends used to laugh when she brought it up. You really think writing stuff down makes a difference? They'd tease. But Lara knew better. Writing wasn't just a record, it was an energetic anchor. Each word, a seed planted in the invisible soil of the universe. On one of the pages, she even drew a pretend check, $20,000, paid by the universe. She signed it with her name and that day's date. Smiling, she shut the notebook and slipped it under her pillow. She didn't know it yet, but something had clicked into place that night. It wasn't magic, it was frequency. Days passed. Nothing happened. Rent was due, her credit card maxed out. Her bank account mocked her with a red balance. Some nights, Lara stared at the ceiling and wondered if the universe even listened, or if this was all just some comforting fantasy. But even on her hardest nights, she tried to hang on to her belief. She whispered to herself, like a lullaby, I trust, even when I can't see. And then she cried, because faith isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward, even when your knees shake. There was one night she almost tore up that $20K paper. Maybe the universe has bigger things to handle, she thought. But something stopped her. A quiet, motherly voice inside her heart said, just wait a little longer. And in that stillness, in that space of surrender, the invisible gears started turning, even if she couldn't see it yet. Slowly, Lara realized it wasn't really about the 20 grand. What she truly longed for was to feel worthy, to believe that she hadn't been forgotten by life. She began shifting the small things, saying thank you for what she already had, smiling at strangers, wishing abundance not just for herself, but for everyone. And something inside her began to bloom. It was like scarcity was making space for quiet gratitude. Then little blessings started rolling in. A surprise job offer, an old debt forgiven, an unexpected gift. None of it added up to the full 20K, but each one seemed to say, we're on our way. And maybe that's how the universe tests you, to see if your belief is real before the big delivery. It was a Friday. The sun wasn't even up yet, and Lara was already feeling the weight of another tough day. The bus was late, her boss piled on impossible targets, and just to top it off, the bank sent another overdraft alert. It felt like the universe had ghosted her. That evening, sitting on her bed with the electric bill in hand, she sighed and muttered, I'm done. Maybe this is all nonsense. But just as she was about to rip the paper with her 20K wish, something made her freeze. A gentle thought floated through. What if the universe is lining everything up right now? She closed her eyes and cried quietly. For the first time, she didn't ask for anything. She just said thank you, not knowing exactly why. That moment, something shifted. The air felt lighter, her chest more at ease. It was like by letting go of control, she finally cleared space for the impossible to walk in. Because sometimes manifestation doesn't arrive when we want. It shows up when we surrender. 2 days later, Lara was at a quiet neighborhood cafe when she overheard two women chatting at the next table. One of them said, "Can you believe I actually manifested exactly what I wrote down?" Lara froze. It felt like the universe had scripted that moment just for her ears. Mustering some courage, she joined the conversation. The woman, all smiles, explained how she had written down a specific amount, and months later, it appeared out of nowhere. The secret, she said, is to let go, trust, and take action when the sign shows up. Lara walked home with her heart pounding. Deep down, she knew that moment wasn't random. That night, she rewrote her intention on a fresh piece of paper, same words, but with a whole new energy. I received $20,000 in an easy and unexpected way. Thank you, universe. And for the first time, she truly believed it. The next morning, while checking her inbox, a subject line popped out at her. Collaboration opportunity. Urgent. It was from an old college friend she hadn't heard from in years. The message was simple. Lara, I thought of you for a freelance project. We need someone reliable and the payment is up front. Can you reply today? Her heart skipped a beat. She could barely believe her eyes. She answered right away, without hesitation. The project wasn't complicated, but it needed focus and fast turnaround. She said yes, feeling that maybe, just maybe, this was the sign she'd been waiting for. Over the weekend, she poured herself into the work with a fire she hadn't felt in ages, and with every word she wrote, something inside her kept whispering, "Keep going. The universe is just starting to show you what it can do." And it truly was. On Tuesday, after submitting the project, Lara went to a bakery to unwind. She ordered coffee, sat near the window, and watched the world go by. Out of nowhere, a truck pulled up in front of her. She laughed under her breath, almost in disbelief. There was no way to ignore that sign. She snapped a photo with her phone and softly said, "All right, universe, I get it." That same afternoon, her friend sent another email, praising the quality of the work and promising to transfer the payment that week, but the twist was still coming. While reviewing the final contract, Lara noticed the total, including payment and a surprise bonus, added up to exactly $20,000. A chill ran down her spine. She sat there staring at the number on the screen, tears welling up. But she didn't cry from shock. She cried because she knew. The universe hadn't missed a single thought, a single tear, A single word she'd scribbled on that crumpled paper. Every bit of it had been heard. The money landed in her account 2 days later, just as she had written it. Easy and unexpected. She hadn't chased it, begged for it, or stressed over it. She simply allowed. And in that moment, she realized the amount was just a symbol. What had really manifested was trust. She printed the payment confirmation and tucked it inside her manifestation journal next to her original note. Not as a trophy, but as a reminder. The universe always delivers in divine timing, not too soon, not too late, and sometimes it's freakishly exact. Even after the money arrived, a shadow of doubt crept in. What if it was just a fluke? What if the universe had nothing to do with it? Fear, sneaky as ever, always tries to get the last word. For a few nights, she slipped back into that old anxiety, like the miracle might vanish at any second. But one quiet night, she opened her manifestation journal and read each affirmation out loud, the ones she'd written over the past few months. And right there, in between laughter and tears, it clicked. The money was already in the bank, but the real gift was her faith, restored. Fear can only live where faith hasn't bloomed yet. And right then, Lara made a decision. She would never again doubt that the universe was listening. Always. A few days later, an unexpected letter showed up in the mail. A handwritten note from her grandmother, who had passed away 3 years earlier. The envelope had been lost in time, recently found by a relative while sorting through old boxes. The handwriting, shaky but full of warmth, read, "Lara, never forget. Whatever you write with love is heard by the heavens. Trust in your wishes, even when it seems like nothing's happening." She broke down, sobbing like a child. The letter had been written long before any of this had ever happened, but it felt like a direct answer, as if her grandmother's faith had traveled across time to whisper exactly what Lara needed to hear. The universe doesn't just respond, it remembers. And in that moment, she understood. The paper was just a tool. The real connection was her heart. A month later, with her heart at peace and life flowing gently again, Lara got another alert from her bank, another deposit. The amount? $20,000. Again, no note, no sender, no explanation. She called her bank manager, who confirmed the transfer had come through an international system, untraceable in origin. Lara just stood there, still as a statue. This time, she didn't cry, she smiled, because she got the message loud and clear. The universe was doubling down on the lesson. The first miracle had tested her faith. This second one was a quiet reminder that abundance doesn't run out. She printed the new confirmation and placed it next to the first one in her journal. And underneath, she wrote, "The universe answers twice when I truly believe once." A few days later, flipping through her older notes, Lara noticed something she had completely forgotten. In the very first version of her affirmation, written months ago, she hadn't just asked for the money, she had added a final line, "For a purpose that helps others." It hit her. The money wasn't sent to be stashed away, it was meant to be shared. That same week, she made a decision. She would fund a small community project, free workshops on writing and manifestation for women going through hard times. She wanted to teach others what she had learned, how to believe. And the most beautiful part? On the very first day of class, one of her students wrote on a piece of paper, "I received $20,000 in an easy and unexpected way." Lara smiled. The cycle had started all over again. Years later, she still keeps that notebook, not as a lucky charm, but as living proof that the universe speaks the language of faith. That 20,000 became more than just a number. It became a symbol of something far greater, the power to co-create your own reality. Today, when someone asks if she truly believes in manifestation, Lara answers softly but with certainty. It's not about asking for money. It's about aligning with abundance. And as she watches her students write their own dreams on paper, she feels the same tingling energy she felt on that cloudy morning when it all began. That quiet shiver you get when the invisible brushes up against the visible. Because at the end of the day, the universe always responds. The real question is, are you ready to listen?